quite bright. Unlike yesterday when it was cloudy, and today I told you, it's a day at the park and some live music. This is me, Zen, and there's you over there. We will be drinking some sort of White Russians. It's not like it's not really. That's why I called it what I did. Because basically just chocolate milk and vodka. So that's what we're doing. I was gonna have, as Dave Mannion yesterday gave me a couple of ducats for Guinness. I figured the next closest thing to a Guinness stout would be a White Russian. The same kind of thick flavor, thick kind of substantial beverage. It's feeling kind of like the dude or whatever, man. So that quote on the front, on the front of the video. No, God. We've talked about that quite often in a lot of different ways. And I'll wait till a few people show up to get into what exactly that means, and further explaining it from another perspective. Well, maybe not from a different perspective, but just why things don't happen with immediacy, and other times they do, and like ways of producing types of magic. Because everything's happening is to some degree magical, right? Like those curious cases and of just things ending up where you need them at the right time. It's not just a coincidence. Of course, it's a coincidence. It's coincidental to a bunch of different things. I also talk about how that occurs, and I try to give you a mathematical equation. I don't know how good of a big toe it will be, big theory of everything, but it will hopefully suffice to give people a little more explanation on mirroring reality. Okay, and your energies, expectations, beliefs, and when they're presented to you out in this three-dimensional space. Talk about how that works. And perhaps why. I don't know how deep we'll get into it, but make an attempt at something. I've made a bunch of videos years ago on what's called the boomerang effect. I like that idea. And then we'll get into the energy, or like amplitude of something, and the frequency of something, and how big of a request you're making of the universe. Because obviously, for you to change the field that I'm looking at right now, and a pyramid to just sit there and to become fact, that's gonna take a belief that most people don't have. Which is where you start to develop, if you get into the astral realms and the dream worlds and lucid dreaming, and you start projecting there, then the things that happen in this life will happen quicker. But here there's always a cushion of something. You can't be immediately like, you can't just get thrust into professional league where it's happening so quickly. You have to have a little bit of, well, you're thinking this, I don't know. Well, you're thinking this, I don't know why you're thinking that. Is that what you want? I want a pony. I want a giraffe. I want a gorilla. It just shows up. Could you imagine if you're at a business meeting and you started thinking that and it just showed up? Like how much chaos that would cause? So there's the general sense of meditation and focus. There's how frequently you're doing that. And then the depth and power of how strong do you really desire that will cause things to line up in the universe in a quicker way. A lot of people have fleeting thoughts of things that they might want, and they wonder, well, I kind of want, you know, most people, what do they want? Money. They don't say how much. They don't say what currency. They don't say how. How would they get that money? They want to get laid, but they don't say who or what. Or they like what color hair? What's the? And these things are always presented to you, but maybe not in the way that you want them. And then you wonder why. Because your request to the universe has to be very specific. You can't just get onto Amazon and say, hey, give me a. You can't just say give me, then type something in. If you just put bag of rice, they're not gonna. How are they gonna know which one you want? If they did send it to you somehow, you have to be specific with your request. The universe acts much in the same way that Google or any other website works. The more specific you are in your request, the more close you're going to get to it. And then, again, the larger the request, maybe it takes a little more time to put it together. And as the factory elves start to, in the DMT realm, start to put the atoms in a certain way to give you that thing that you want, that you desire, in this three-dimensional realm that's out in front of you that you interact with. Might take them a little longer. But if you ask for something simple, they probably got that on the shelf. It's the difference between going to a Toyota, you want a car, you go down the street and go to Toyota, or you go to a used car place, you can buy a car in the next hour. Now, if for instance, you don't want a cheap car, and you want a specific car that's not in a lot, it might take a little while for you to get that. There'll be a bunch of different things that need to be done for you to acquire such things. So that's happening on the causal plane. So in this reality, there's what has been manifest as our physical, and then there's what's taking place behind the scenes that create this. And before that is your thoughts. But then your thoughts are organizing into something on this other plane of existence that then start to morph into whatever physical reality you want. Sometimes you want things that, maybe let's use this as an example. Sometimes you want things that don't correspond with each other. Like say you wanted three things that couldn't fit into the same existence. The idea of like having more of something. Like I want more free time, but I also I want more physical items, and I want more books in my house, and I want more cars, and I want more. It's going to be a hard thing to accomplish both of those tasks. You understand? Like the freest people have the least amount of things, right? I'm not saying you can't have, because you should have and want things that are physical. It's part of the world. But there's some things that we ask for, and I have you have a list of like 10 things. You're like, well, that doesn't really coordinate with that. It's like trying to you ask for you ask for an oven, but you don't ask for maybe you don't ask for all of the wares in which to cook things in the oven, right? You don't ask for the baking sheets and the pans and the whatever. What the hell is the use? Okay, you get your oven, cool. You got an oven. You got an oven. Like Oprah, you got a car. Then they're like, oh shit, what do I gotta pay? I gotta pay taxes on that? Do I gotta pay, what's going on here? I gotta pay for insurance now? And gas? Sure that all those people could afford a car that they got for free. It's like a free puppy. So the idea of living in a more dense physical reality is you get a little more time between you, a little space between you and whatever your expectations are, so you can make a change in your order. Oh man, this is so delicious. You guys want to join me for a beverage? I think you do. and I think you should. Got this awesome new container that I've made a day's worth of CocoRuskiMilk. And it's fabulous. Like this is, somebody asked me if they can send me a gift. And I said, yeah, you can send me something. But I didn't tell them what I wanted, so they sent me a gift. And it turned out to be something I didn't know I needed, and I didn't necessarily know I wanted, but it comes in handy, and I use it almost every day. See, sometimes it works out that way, huh? I like that. What do they say? The universe provides you not with what you want, but what you need. Well, I disagree in the sense that I think you get both. You get what you're definitely attracted to, or like whatever you have to put the most energy into. You're very not attracted to something, you're gonna get that. But if you're very attracted to something else, you get that. So I try to find myself attracted to things that are lovely. Surely, if we find ourselves like fed up or pissed or like whatever or something, and then we get that again. Like I thought, why do I keep getting this bullshit? Well, maybe you just go, well, that was yesterday. Let's just work on something new today. So the idea of the crematorium or the cremation of experiences of yesterday, of things that you have. Who cares? That was yesterday. So what do you want today? It's like you think a lot of people are like, I fucking hate this life. Just let me start over or whatever. Well, fuck, you can start over right now. You can start over right now. You just have to vanquish all of the other beliefs that you have, which is the deprogramming. You wake up tomorrow morning, you go, it's a new day. You know, the day it's like cloudy and it's all fucked up. You know, and that's your mind sometimes. The next day you get up, you go, it's a fucking literally a whole new experience. You don't have to drag anything with you. Have a whole new experience. How many times I go out and have a glorious time? How many times I go out and like, oh, that was a fucking stupid day. But like, fuck it. Like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna just immerse myself in replaying and reliving the ignorances of my past or of stupid shit that's going on? Or should I go, hey, fuck, look at this. I got palm trees, I got ducks, I got chocolate milk, I got vodka. Like, what am I gonna sit in? Like, a couple days ago, I literally had 26 cents in my bank account. Am I gonna sit in that mindset that I'm broke and that I don't have anything? No, that'd be idiotic. If I did, I wouldn't be. If I sat in that mindset, I would have been dead or beyond homeless at 22 years old. You know what I mean? You can't stay there. It's like, you can't stay in that mindset. You spend energy, you expend it, you invest it, and you get returns on your investment in the universe. What's up, Angel? What are you doing? Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. Can you hear me over the wind? Or do I need to find a new location for explanation and recreation? Because I'm kind of near an open field here, so it's a little windy. I can find a better spot. You gotta let me know, though. I'm not gonna sit here and battle the wind to talk over it. It's blurry. Hold on. How about now? Is it still blurry? I don't know why that would be. Is my face blurry? Am I blurry? Is it me? Usually my camera's pretty nice on here. This is a badass camera. Maybe I got a little gunk. Probably the connection. Okay. If it's just doing that versus like if I got some schmutz on the screen. what the title was, but it was something about cremation of cremation of care-ish, the collective consciousness, and catalyzing. Sometimes it was a bunch of C words. I don't remember exactly what I put. Yeah, you have to remember that your body is electromagnetic, and that magnetism works to draw things to you. The days that you feel good about yourself and you're putting off different type of energy, people will come up to you. People will be gravitated towards you. Things will find their way to you. The whole thing when people are like, I really can't stand it when everybody's like talking about like high vibes. It's not everything, because just because something's high vibe doesn't mean it's cohesive with anything. You know, I can turn a fucking something up to a high vibe, but if it's not cymatically correct, because I know people that would do things that are upper all the time. They would always be eating fruit. They'd always be this, and they'd always be cleansing, but they were so neurotic that even though they were on a high vibe and energetic, there was nothing they weren't grounded, and it was like sparks flying off, and it it was very uneasy. High vibe, but uneasy. So it's like if your piano's out of tune just because you hit a high note, it's going to sound like garbage, and who's going to want to hear that? So in that sense of high vibes, you still got to be on the right harmonic. You have to be in the right key, the right note, the right chord. You can't just go, oh, it's a higher frequency, it's a higher vibe. It means absolutely nothing. Because whether low vibes or high vibes, there's constructive waveforms. There's constructive energies that make shapes, cymatics. There's construction all over the realm, high and low vibes, but they have to be in cahoots with the landscape. You know? Yeah, the proper balance and grounding is huge. Proper balance and grounding is huge. Grounding is more important for most people, because everyone's going to have their imbalances from day to day. There's not too many ambidextrous people. There's not too many people that have a completely balanced left and right analytical and creative brain. There's not too many people that even walk correctly. You know what I mean? So that balance is never going to be completely. But what I find is most people are so out of grounded with anything. They don't do anything to ground themselves up. They want to take all the supplements. They want to do all the healthy stuff. They want to do all the cleansing. They want to eat all the fruits. But they never do anything to connect themselves to the earth. They won't eat any dense food, even though it's grounded. They won't eat anything that is substantial, because then it go, oh well, I'm not vibing high, man. It's making me kind of lazy and sleepy. I gotta be on a high vibe. What are you accomplishing? Just because you're on a high vibe doesn't mean anything's getting accomplished. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, some people are so out of balance. There's lots of things you can do to correct that balance. Some are physical things that will correct your mental balance. If you're always, like, here's something I do. I started doing this a long time ago. I was very right-handed, and then the first thing I did, so growing up I played soccer, and I very quickly learned to use my left foot. But then when I played basketball, I never learned how to use my left hand, until one day it became very obvious. They're like, you can't even go left. And so all I did was just continue to use my left hand. And then I would find myself eating, and I would pick up a drink with my right hand. And as much as I drank, I started putting the drink in my left hand. So I have to access the other part of my brain. So a physical task can get your brain more in balance. And you start to connect with the feelings and the tactile functions of what's going on with your left hand, which is your feminine hand and creative. And just something as simple as that. Something as simple as you can do is when you're picking up a drink, put it in your other hand. That can balance you out in so many different ways. It doesn't always have to be this spiritual. I need to sit in. I gotta sit in with my knees and legs crossed. I'm a butterfly and I'm completely not comfortable and uneasy, but I gotta do this because it's gonna help. And I gotta think these thoughts, and so it works in both directions. The spiritual and mental and physical, you can go in either direction. If you have something very physical, it will affect your mentality and your spirituality. If you're spiritual in some realm, or mental, you can mentally think differently, and it'll change your physical outcome. So it can be done either way. And too many people think there's some absolute, this is the way it's done, because that's the way they learned it. But in reality, sometimes it won't work for people. You can go to these, so go and sit with these gurus for sure. But I know people that have done it for a long time, and there's the progress. I don't see it. And I know other people that don't really have a prescribed practice, that are happier, more balanced, healthier people. And it's like people that go to the gym, they become obsessed with it. They become obsessed with going to the gym to be stronger. They become obsessed with eating healthy to be healthier, they think. But mentally, in both cases, they're screwing the pooch. They go so far out of their way to do cleansing that they've over-cleansed themselves to the point where they have no real energy in their body. Forced through something where to use your left side more. Yeah, I mean, well, the interesting thing about, you have your slow twitch and fast twitch muscles, and then you have your hold on a second. So you have your slow twitch, and then you have your fast twitch, and then you have your stabilizer muscles. So sometimes you can do something fine lines, and with your very small little minute, you could do it with your left hand, but it's weak up here. It's not like you're just your left side, because you have parts of your body, like parts of my body, because I'm more stable on my left foot. Like, so my left thigh is probably heftier and stronger, more balanced and capable than my right, but I'm very right-handed. But if I can do something fine stitching with my left hand, so there's these little idiosyncrasies in where your body is, where your leftedness and rightedness is. I mean, that's got to be a really cool feeling, to be in a position where, it's like whenever you're juggling, if you can juggle both ways. It's a pretty interesting feeling, because you're like, wow, it's not both hands work simultaneously. It's like a typing. When I type, I can't tell the difference. But there's other things I do, and I'm like, oh shit, I very much know that I'm working my left side. Like, try to throw a football with my left hand. Oh, it's terrible. And just let me know as this is happening, if at any point the wind is too much, because then I'll just move. Because all I have to do is go over there for better sound. And maybe, I don't know, it's probably not on my side, because it'd be cutting out the broadcast if the shit is on my side. So it's probably on your side if the bandwidth isn't coming through. Get back to what I was saying a few minutes ago about it goes in either direction, that something mental or spiritual can cause physical to change, or the other way around. Same thing with worries in the mind can cause physical outpourings of something. If you have if you're angry, like if you're angry inside, then you literally do get flushed in the face red. But that can pour out into other physical ailments that you'll have. So we have to realize, like, so the mind is so much working on affecting the body spiritually. So it starts spiritual realm, then mental realm, and so the mental realm is trying to gauge that spiritual thing, the study of spirits and energy moving and breath, all of this, and the physical realm is the outcome. So the mind is trying to coordinate the inputs of the spiritual realm, which is kind of just everywhere, and you can't really, it's not tangible. You can't grasp the wind. You can't grasp your breath. This is what spirit means in its essence. You can't hold your breath. So that your mind is trying to capture that thing that you can't and turn it into this physicality. So it's as trying to coordinate that from nothingness to physicality, somethingness. You can do it. It can work in both ways, and it can also manifest, dis-ease and disharmony in your physical system. So you have to learn a CocoRuskiMilk instead of the Guinness, because it was kind of similar. It's kind of like a White Russian, but I just made a chocolate milk and vodka, because the bottle of Kahlua is a little expensive right now. And oddly enough, the seed milk that I like was on sale, and so I got some chocolate syrup, some seed milk, some vodka, and I feel like I'm drinking. The only thing I'm missing is the bubbles in here. Other than that, it's fabulous. You guys want to check out my fucking radical pants that I'm wearing? Check these bitches out. Meow, meow. Who got the pink pants? Like the Pink Panther, yo. Pants. Like the Pink Panther, yo. Let's go with the Black Crows. What you know about that? What you know about that? Show the Black Crows. Which is funny, I got this shirt from Goodwill, and I was rocking it out, and somebody names the album, like, what are you talking about? And like, your shirt. I'm like, oh, because it didn't even make sense to me that I was wearing a Black Crow shirt. He's like, oh, you look like the guy from, and I was like, oh, I don't even fucking know who that is. I was like, I guess so. The whole grouping of bearded white men into the same category is so weird to me. Like, no, we all don't look alike. It's like grouping. It's so weird. The only people that I find there to be like, okay, what's going on here? Like, if you can't tell the difference in melanated black people, you're weird. That's very apparent. If you can't tell the difference between white people, yeah, there is a certain classic white person thing, but we all know who that is. That's white people shit. But any other culture, you can tell the difference between people, except for Asian, like Chinese people. They all look the same. They do. I've already said I'm not. It's not racist. I think they're robots. You can't be racist against robots. I mean, there's people that can unlock other people's apps with their face because it is so similar. It is so exactly the same. Every aspect, they're the same thing. They're built in a laboratory. I don't care what anybody says. But no, all white dudes with a beard do not look alike. Absolutely not. There's plenty of the same looking people in Hollywood that are like blonde haired white chicks. they look alike for sure, but they're attempting to do that. They're doing that on purpose. When did you get here, David Mannion? Did you miss the entire show? I mean, obviously at this point, I'm just going to be talking mad shit with you, and obviously until someone, gives me a jump off point for some new, improved knowledge on something. But I did a good 25 minutes on manifestation techniques and how it happens. That I think was pretty valid. Oh, and everybody here, you're more than welcome too. Thumbs up, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Help a brother out. Oh, also, I want to remind everyone here. What's up, Suntoke? Is that you? I think that's who it is. Yeah. Whoever doesn't remember, I do, or doesn't know this, I have a WordPress from back in 2015, 2014, 2016, I don't know, somewhere around there. So if you want to, Zen-Alchemist.wordpress, check it out. I was just rereading something of mine today because I was looking, oddly enough, it's always weird when you Google something and some of you, and on the first page your work, I wasn't even looking for my work, I was looking for The Immortal Cell by Hilton Hotima, and I'd written a big piece on it, and it came up on the first page of Google, which I thought was really cool. So if you look up Hilton Hotima, The Immortal Cell, my writing's right there on the first page. Anyways, and I was just rereading some of my old stuff, and I was like, should get back into some of this stuff for people, because most people have no idea that I used to write a little bit. Hey, what did my phone? Sounds like my phone get wet. What you mean? What's up, Yadaku? Yeah, distilled water. Well, you gotta use like apparently DuckDuckGo is kind of screwy these days, and Brave I think is the only one to use. Look up Brave. That might be the only one to use. But distilled water, you gotta start with who you already knows the shit, which is like Andrew Norton Webber, or even my stuff won't show up. For certain. Oh yeah. You have that conversation with somebody, and I explain how it works. That if that was true, then all the living organisms, these trees, the distilled water that's coming from the sky, because rain is distilled water, would land on the trees and the grass and the leaves, and it would eat it. It would kill it. But that's not how it works, is it? So you try to explain it. There's so many ways to explain it. I've done so many long writings on that. Oh, and there's on my WordPress, there's a huge one that I did on distilled water. Yadaku, you got a 4K camera? Huge webcam, it's a bit expensive. Hey, you making videos in 4K? What kind of shit you doing, man? Do I gotta go to explicit websites to find you? Son talk Monica Schwitt. Yeah, she was one of the first people that I really paid attention to for sure. I don't know who it was initially. She was definitely in the top like 4 or 5 people that I paid attention to. But for me, after it was like after, like for me, distilled water, I was only reintroduced to it, like the ideas of it, through Andrew Norton Webber, but I was always drinking it. I knew well before that. But the urine thing, that'd be really hard to, maybe I said one of my videos where I figured it out. Like where I came across, like, hey, drink your piss. I don't know who it was. She was definitely up there though. Distilled water is better for you? Well, I think if you were just going to drink one of the two, probably piss. If you had a choice of piss or distilled water, and that's your only options, piss. But the problem with that is you're going to be losing so much water, you're going to have to get water in your body a different way. And because distilled water is such a cleansative thing, you know, you get to the point of being so overly cleansed from the water that it's not really having much of an effect on you. So it's and I've always put it this way, like it's never, even if it was doing what they said, which it's certainly not, explain to me how I am the way I am, and that's exclusively, I don't know how, besides everything else I consume, right? So I must be getting energy and minerals and things from everywhere else. And how did is that the only water my dog drank for 16 years? My dog was a lab pit. She lived to 12, 13. She lived to like 17. So all she drank was distilled water. That was not harming her. Yeah. So what's the give here? Everybody else is taking their dog to vets and shit and having all the, you know, feed him dog food and drinking tap water. It's tap liquid, man. So distilled water is where it's at. And then I would say, because you come upon running, moving water in you find like springs, and you find rivers and creeks and whatever with moving, running water. That's going to be clean water almost all of the time. Drink that. You'll get some minerals out of it, and whether, you know, some springs have healing things in it, like lithium and other stuff. I used to go to springs. Like I used to travel to find springs and get spring water. Like get, you know, 30 gallons of spring water. So yeah, there's no problem with spring water. I mean, and it's like, what's your, you know, again, what is your source of water? Primarily yourself, but you can still get dehydrated because you're not going to have enough else going into you. You're going to have like you're going to have your foods going into you. Sorry, I was thinking about milk for a second. You have no idea what I was observing. So when I say milk, I think you understand what I'm saying. So, yeah, water choices in order. I would say if the world, I would say in order, the easiest that you're going to come by is going to be spring or river or lake water. It's moving water, it's water. Then next you're going to find water that comes through, you know, as distilled through plants, through your body, through the rain. Yeah. But then your piss, I mean, your piss is already on you. Why not just use that? Again, distilled water is better for you in the sense there's nothing in it. It's the cleanest thing available. It's the cleanest. It doesn't have much energy potency. It doesn't have anything else in it. But it definitely is, as far as health-wise, I guess you could say it's the healthiest for most people. What's up, Skull? The Master Blaster's in the building. Sunsoak carbonated mineral water. For me, I don't mind having that once in a while because, fuck it, I'll drink a Coca-Cola, right? But as far as doing that too much, you know, there's something that's between the what's happening with the bubbles in it and the minerals, probably not the healthiest of choices to make. Because where are you getting carbonated water on Earth? It has to be done. You know what I mean? It's a process. So the carbonation factor, if you want to ferment it, then you just make yourself some beer. Here's the carbonated mineral water I want. Beer. But I hear what you're saying. I know what you mean. The sparkly kind of. Yeah, Icelandic water is up there because it's perfectly cold. Yeah, and it's probably super clean. Yeah, Yadaku. That's prime, man. If bottled water most of the time is gonna be better than tap water. Most of the time, non-plastic, non-glass bottles better than plastic. Distilled is better than, you know what I mean? If it's water, it's water. It can't even tap water out of the sink. Out of anything you could drink, what's going to be worse, tap water or a diet Coke? I think the answer is obvious there. Oh man, I didn't know anything about that, man. I never put a collar on. The only reason I never got my dog did not get stabbed, ever. I mean, I think I got her from the SPCA, so she got her initial ones, but then after that, she never, no. Not taking her to the fucking vet and stabbing her. And it was funny because she liked having a collar on sometimes because she felt like she was somebody or something. I don't know. But I liked to walk her without a collar on. You know what I mean? If she's around, she doesn't need to wear a collar. Like it's not my animal. It's my friend. I don't know who that is. Dehydration or malnourishment. I don't know who that is. If the person was vegan, certainly you're gonna dehydrate the shit out of yourself. Because people that go full vegan, they're gonna malnourish themselves. They're gonna dehydrate themselves. They don't know what's going on. But I don't know who that is. Just making a gazongus. Oh, I don't really prefer my water with ice on it. I prefer room temperature water, like 70 degrees. I do enjoy ice water when it's super hot out, but most of the time, if I'm drinking water, I put it on my counter and it sits there, and yeah, but Yadaku, you also are from somewhere that it's cold, so your taste for cold water is different than somebody in warm climate, Wow, man. Yeah, BPA in plastic disrupts endocrine stays in the body for a long time. Yeah, I came to the conclusion a while ago that unless you move to an island far, far away and do everything natural by hand, you're not walking through this life unscathed, unpoisoned. You're not gonna. And the enjoyment that I get out of occasionally consuming bullshit. Like, what am I going to add 5 years to the end of my life by not doing that? Just so I can be, like, decrepit for motherfuckers and go, oh well, at least I didn't smoke that joint, at least I didn't fucking drink that beer, at least I didn't eat that McDonald's. For me, I had that mindset for a little while, where I was like, let me do all the good things. I'll live to be 1,000. I will become a breatharian. I will fucking levitate on these motherfuckers. And then I was like, I mean, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know, I'm gonna let me control the atoms in everything. Let me control the atomic structure. Let me control the cellular matrix of reality, and then I'll consume whatever I want. But until then, like, at least I'm not doing things purposefully with the intent of harming myself. So everything I see is I'm gonna take the goodness out of it and shit the bad out. Oh, light workers, yeah, aren't they good? Indigo Mystic. Okay, I'll have to check out that crazy one. Is she in the teal swan category? Whenever that's a dude, right? Am I wrong? Am I missing something here? Because she out of the woodwork years ago. She was like the first one on, and the way, again, most of these people got a lot of good things to say, but that's not a dude. That you don't get dude vibes all over that. And she's like, I'm sorry. I just don't think your name is you're a dude. Is that? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what anybody's story is. I got no dilemma with it. I just don't like the idea that there is such a giant influence of people that are out here giving these grandiose stories. I can make up stories all fucking day about the people that I've seen in the other realms and this and that. Or I can just be like, hey, here's some. I'll tell you the difference between lucid dreaming, astral travel, and just getting out, read a bunch of books and go, oh, and then have a lucid dream, and because that book was influencing your mind so much, believe that and implanted a memory into your head that said you were out of body and experienced that in a lifetime, and it was just a lucid dream and just a subconscious thing that had nothing to do with any reality that you've experienced. There's a big difference between a lucid dream, because you know it's a dream and you can do anything you want in it, and there's absolutely no recourse for it. You could pick up a Uzi and destroy everything. You could fuck all the chicks. You could fly. You could do astral realm, out of body. Quite a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to have the I don't know. I mean, to have the how about this? Fuck that. I'm a dark worker. Yeah, is that fair? I'll be a dark worker then. Because here's what I've seen. To have the gall to call yourself a light worker, and I know these people, they're not walking into dark spaces. If you can't walk into dark spaces, you're not a light worker. These people are not going into, they're not going to the hood. They're not going out at night. They're not walking in dangerous places. They're not bringing light to where it needs to be. They're talking in the sunshine to everyone else. They're just preaching to the goddamn choir. They're not doing any of that. Like, okay, maybe they're doing some work in their, you know, in their meditations or whatever. I'm not taking that away. I'm just saying, to call yourself a light worker, then fucking bring your torch of light and walk anywhere you want, anytime you want. But I know they don't. I know they can't. It's just not. Oh, there you go. Hey, thank you, Yadaku. I never thought about that before. I never even considered. Well, that's it. How about that? I'm gonna make a channel. Because who's got dark worker channel out there? Everybody looks up light worker, right? Look up and then you got the Rainbow Warriors. I mean, I guess whatever. I mean, I'm all about. But have you ever hung out with the Rainbow crew, the Rainbow Gathering? Those are some of the most drugged out, insane, half loving, half stab somebody people that I've ever seen. I think they're cool. I don't mind them. I've hung out with them. Like, I know I was living somewhere and they came through. I was like, what the hell's going on? and they were living off. And I fucking, I'm good with them. But these like rainbow warriors and the light workers, I'm just like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. A green, like, yes, yeah. Now you're Green Lantern. When that green light comes on, you're Green Lantern, huh? Or you just have white vision. You have night vision, light vision, night vision. I'm very happy with my CocoRuski Milky. Good day, good day. Yeah, I don't know. I guess you're not allowed to say anything pro Russia these days. I've seen bars that have gone so far as to change their white Russians to call them white. Uh, what do they say? White Slavics or something? No, like something like the white Ukraines or something. I'm like, how can you can't even do that's not how that works. Like you can't just throw the entire people from one country under the bus for another country because you don't know what any of those fucking people believe. You're listening to some propaganda bullshit on the TV and some government agencies that don't give a shit, just like your government doesn't give a shit about you. And obviously you're gonna go so far as to tell me that you support something for what? You have no idea. You have no idea what those wars are about. You have no idea how long that's been going on for. You have no idea, like, what if they're not already on the same team trying to get a different outcome, right? Which is a good possibility. But to think that that's what you need to root for, I think it's fucking bizarre. And so if I just said, I seen some posts on Reddit. It's like, it's this dude that was like saying, like fucking, I support Russia, blah blah. Like, and it was like under trashy. Like, what the fuck is trashy about supporting? Like, he's from there. What should he do? Like, nah, fuck that. We're in the wrong. They're in the right. Well, what about all the others? You know how many soldiers from all over the world are fighting for either position? And none of you know what those positions are. None of you. That's the point. What do they call them? Soldiers of fortune. You know how many fucking soldiers of fortune are over there fighting, like, for corporations? You think this is not a corporate war? People fucking lost their shit, man. So don't have me come into your bar and think I'm not gonna order a white Russian. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? It's just what the fucking drink is called. Can I order a pink Yugoslavian? Is that what we got to do now? It sounds like a farting noise. Yeah, Suntug, we were talking about that. It was Z Nation and World War Z. Brad Pitt. So World War Z, equivalent to World War III, right? And then Z Nation, the zombie nation. And like, why? Like, there is 0 point to put that on there unless it was explaining something. Because the things that I've heard from people that are there and forthright, like Philip Druzin and a few other people, they make the point that this war has been going on for a long time, and people that were signing up to go to war for the propaganda ministers, they were told that they were going in to do they weren't going to a war for real. They were going in to do like a reconnaissance work, or just to, they're not really going to fight. And then they got there and realized, like, how the fuck are you going to bring tanks somewhere and then think that somebody's going to take their farm equipment and take it away? How could that happen? How could that happen? It couldn't, unless those people were really not there to fight. They were sold a fake war. I'm not saying people aren't dying. I'm not saying there's not people fighting. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying kind of belligerent that people believe that shit to the degree. I mean, you can't even trust these other sources of media, the YouTubes and that. Like, just because it wasn't on mainstream doesn't mean they're not. Like, look at that shit that just happened in New York City. Supposedly 16 people were shot or something, but the cameras weren't working. Oh, right. Again, the only thing you see is a camera outside, where apparently the dude threw off a smoke bomb and then started open firing. And then obviously people just get off you don't even see people get off the train. You just see people running around in circles and standing there. And if someone was shooting, everyone would go straight up those goddamn stairs and out the fucking subway real quick. None of that was happening. And then all of a sudden they, it's so fucking, it's such corny, bizarre propaganda bullshit. And people that don't get it, I'm just like, what aren't you getting? Just because dumb shit happens doesn't mean that the extent of what they're telling you. They sell you so much fucking fear and poison. They poison your mind with that shit. I want to make bird videos. Yeah, fuck yes, man. Yeah. Fucking just relax. I mean, what the fuck is the problem? You want some food? There's a tree right there that has food on it. Go eat. You want? I got an orange in my backpack. You hungry? Oh fuck! You want somewhere to sleep? There's an awning right there. There's fucking empty houses. I mean, everything's become so far from, you can't believe a damn thing. There's a shred, a shrapnel, a shard, a shart of truth, a little turd of truth in some of these things for certain. But the stories, I was thinking about it in the sense, like, you ever get in an argument with somebody? Maybe you get an argument and then it turns into a fight. But there was somebody that was the aggressor that caused it. Now, whoever wins that fight, is it necessarily the aggressor or the person that was defending themselves? Now, depending on who wins the fight, or what part of the fight you see, is the part that you agree with. Like, watch a video, you never get the backstory, you never get how did the fight start, and you never get the aftermath of it, right? And you don't know who was being the dick there. Or are we gonna watch the Karen bullshit where she goes out of control and then wilds out and plays victim role? I mean, the amount of people that play victim these days is so fucking corny. But it's like, we're gonna end up in such a pussified culture of corn dick, cheesy bald, lame, weak-wristed pieces of shit if we keep allowing for people to just run their goddamn mouths and start fights. It's like, it reminds me of that song. You don't start no shit, there won't be no shit. You don't start a problem, there won't be a problem. If everybody takes that, there'll never be a problem in the world. Don't start one, there won't be one. I won't start one, you won't start one, we good. But then somebody's gonna start it, right? And then what you have is the assholes that go, well, just because they were up in your face, just because they pushed you, just because they're aggressing at you so fucking viciously, you have to stand there and take it and turn a cheek and just get your ass whooped and lose your life for somebody that is just being a piece of shit. And then people that defend that, they're the biggest problem. I'm tired of watching restaurant workers get insulted by people that come in and want some fast food or whatever. Those people need to get aired the fuck out. You walk into a place of business, you're on their terms. You can't tell that place of business or their employees what the fuck to do. It's kind of like if you get onto a bus in any major city, if you walk onto a bus, I don't care if the bus driver's wrong. If you insult the bus driver and assault them, that's a felony. You know what I'm saying? So it should be the same for restaurant employees. Watch these motherfuckers shut their goddamn mouths. It's not the customer's right. If you're a dick, you're a dick, and you should get slapped in the face. Yeah? Get slapped in the face and fucking move on. Oh, you need the 4K for the bird videos? I thought you were talking about different kind of birds. Like, I mean, I hope you get my funny reference there. Yeah, the kid. Yeah. Yeah, people are out of control with this mask thing, man. It really is. It's like I've gotten on so many buses, so many streetcars, so many restaurants, so many places. You can go anywhere you want. If you want to wear one, wear one. But it's like, it's to the point where like they have no point of control in any part of their life. So it's kind of like, it's called like the toll booth syndrome, I suppose is what it's called, where that's your space, that's your toll booth, and you can let somebody by if they're nice to you. Hey, I don't have that $1.25 today. Motherfucker, I need to get across the bridge. You ain't going nowhere. You know, it's that kind of mentality that people have. It's that they're their space and they own it, and it's their only power that they have. Yeah, I've got bitched at for actually having a mask on, but it wasn't the one that the person wanted me to wear. It wasn't correct. Then I watched two more people after having a fucking back and forth with this dude. He goes, "You can ride today, but you can't wear that again." I was like, why is it you're the only one that has ever given me grief about wearing this? I ride the streetcar or the bus almost every day with this exact mask, and no one has said shit to me. You're the only one. And then what happens? A couple riders later, two kids get on. One kid's got a mask under his chin, and the other kid's got a ski mask on. And you don't say shit to them. I'm like, what's going on here? And I literally had the same mask as just about everybody else. It just didn't have the rubber things that went around my ears. It was just as much of a cloth mask as anything else. People are insane, man. Thank you, Yadaku. Yeah. Well, you got to realize that they maybe had it prior to it. Delusional schizophrenia, kind of those kind of cluster Bs and shit, or the lack of oxygen to their brain is causing quite a bit of distress. It's been completely shown 1,000 times over. But then as people get dumber, they can't even believe it then. Now you're going to convince somebody that their IQ is down by, you know, it was already low enough, and now it's down by another 20 points or whatever. Because if there's no oxygen in the brain, how's it working right? It's not going to be. Keep breathing in carbon dioxide in your hot ass breath. No shit. Oh, 2 hours? Yeah. And considering most people, they fumble with it, stick it in their pocket, take it out, put it in their purse, and they wear that for days at a time. They're not, and they're also, look at, you said in 2 hours, 2 hours it's bacteria ridden in an enclosed, completely sterile environment. As soon as they cut the guy open and there's stuff happening, then the idea of being in a public setting, do you know how quickly it's bacteria ridden? Probably 15 minutes, if that. Yeah. Well, on to new and better things. Well, the good thing about at least wearing it during the day is the sun is antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So the sun can help with that. I don't know how that works on the inside of the mask, but it could definitely help. If you just leave it out in the sun, it would help. It's kind of like microwaving something. Microwave will work. You could microwave that shit. I don't know why you're gonna want to, but I guess you could. Hey Yadaku, if you find yourself in an environment of crazy people, it's time to leave. If that's the case, we should have all left Earth quite a many years ago. Like, where's that spaceship? Can I get the fuck out of here? These people are definitely not part of my tribe. They've lost their mind. Can we get out? I'm done. I'll throw the towel in. I'm good. White flag that shit. Well, you can't leave Earth, but you can leave this realm. I mean, Earth just means the shit beneath your feet. Earth means dirt. It means soil. I mean, you can get off it for a little while. You can float. You get a hot air balloon. Get a plane. Well, I've Ayadaku, on the bright side here, I've given thought to the idea. Remember, you ever see those ghost cities in China, and these empty cities in different places? And my thought is they built them on purpose before the reset. So what they did was firewalled off the whole city, so nothing will happen there. Nothing's connected, so it can't get electrically pulsed from. So it's just the city's built, so that way after everything gets fried and burnt and reset in plasma, these cities don't get affected, and that's where people go to live. This is my thought on it. Yeah, I don't think they just built them and no one went there. That doesn't make a lot of sense. They built them with their expressive purpose. Hi, puppy. I mean, think about it if you build anything, and you full on if you don't connect it, and you don't plug it in, you use electronics, you keep it within a system, but you don't have it connected, and you just leave those wires, you just leave the one thing, the power supply disconnected, and you wait until after, and you're like, oh, the whole thing just fried, but nothing in that fries. Then you go ahead and just plug that bitch back in after the reset. Suntoke, that's correct. So when you astral project is very similar to out of body. Well, those three they're similar but a little different. So astral projection, out of body, and remote viewing. Remote viewing is more like you're not physically there, but you can observe. You're kind of like a ghost. Where actually projecting, you're actually there, and you're participating. And you can do that in different times and spaces. Where out of body, so getting out of body means I pulled my spiritual body out of this body, and I stay within, still attached to myself, but I can spaces. But I'm gonna be in real time, basically. Like if it's noon and I get out of my body, I will be able to see the sun. Okay. If it's 10 o'clock p.m. I won't be able to see the sun because I'm just getting out of body. If I actually project or actually travel somewhere, going to a different place or a different time, and it could be anything, and you can interact. Where people that remote view are doing it more as ghost, like they're invisible, but they're just spying and viewing into different dimensions. Those are differentiations. I've done all of them, but 2 of them on accident. Like I remote viewed on accident, and it was interesting because I was remote viewing, but the dog could see me. A dog and a baby could see me. I was in a weird apartment that I very much knew from a different realm, and the dog and the baby definitely could see me, but no one else could see me at all, and it was so strange. But then, I've done that kind of thing a few times, and so that's more of like remote viewing. And then there's astral projecting, where you're interacting with the people there. You can talk to them, they see you, and sometimes you're like where are you from? Like, how the hell did you get here? And so you can be in a different space, or projection, a different time. And then out of body is literally, I just pull myself out of this body. I can walk to somewhere down here. Whether or not someone can see me or not, that's I don't know. I've never really interacted with too many people getting out of body, if that makes any sense to people. I hope you can understand. If you can't, rewind that, listen again. I think it'll make sense how it works. And then you have lucid dreaming, which is basically just dipping into your subconscious that has no effect whatsoever on reality in any way. Like you're just playing around with colors and lights and images and textures and things. It's just like, yeah, the lucid dreaming is just fun. There's not, the purpose of it is to just enjoy the experience. Interesting, when you can say the shadow people I enjoy those buildings. I'm going to be hanging out at one later. I'm going to be hanging out at an old Masonic temple later. Well, at least in front of it. There's Wednesday nights at Lafayette Square in New Orleans, and right across from it, so Wednesday night, so there's this big square, big green space, and they bring in really awesome bands, big stage, all outdoor, and right across from it, behind the band, is the old Masonic temple. It's a pretty cool view. What's up, Ninja? Hey, Ninja, I have to figure out how to fix my email, because I literally get it's pretty much similar to my YouTubes, where I don't get 100% of, like, it doesn't just pop on my phone, hey, you have mail. It doesn't do that. Like, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So I saw your message this morning, and I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, why does it should just pop up? Like, I know I turn that off for like Instagram or other stupid shits, but I don't know why it doesn't always work on my my emails. A cracked mirror has more character than a clean mirror. Interesting, because the show that I was watching last night called The Moon, it's Disney, what I was telling you guys about yesterday. Moon something. It's about the Egyptian shit, and the guy, he's living in 2 realms, one across from himself through the mirror, through the looking glass. And there was a part of the scene where he's on the other side of the glass, that the guy on the other side, which is him, but a different realm of him, I guess, kicks the mirror and breaks it. It's quite interesting. I don't know what that means completely. Are you in a gauge field? I don't know what that means completely. I never heard that terminology. It's like, what you watch a crackhead run around talking to somebody or doing something in the streets. Like, they're certainly in this realm, their physical body's still here, but they've connected to a frequency that is an offshoot of this. Like, if we're still in the G, and they just go from the harmonic of 440 down to 401, and they can see and they're interacting in that realm. It's kind of like doing, any kind of psychedelic. Sometimes you're actually portaled there, so you're not really in this realm anymore. That's a major difference. I'll check it out. What up, light years? Yeah, psychedelics definitely do. But that's what I'm saying. Crack. So if you say crack, this is why I first brought up crack, because you said crack in the mirror. I think it would probably lower your frequency. You'd see just entities from a lower frequency, where psychedelics would put you on a higher frequency. So you would still see entities outside of this realm. If you do a little bit of psychedelics, you see them outside this realm that you're interacting with, but you're still here. If you do enough of it, then you go into that space. It's kind of like when people go on the dimethyltryptamine trip, and then they're like, oh my gosh, the machine elves are like, what are you doing here? Like, how did you get here? I'm like, well, you're here now. What's up? Let's play or whatever. Let me show you how something's built. Where if you just do enough of it, you can kind of see it. Where I think that happens with most substances. You kind of interact with different spirits and frequencies, right? And most of those things will. Let's try it here. We're in an octave, okay? We're in an octave, and if I just smoke weed, if I just drink alcohol, if I do the normal substances, I'll stay in this octave. I'll stay in this person, and I probably won't be blasting off to some realm to see spirits that no one else can see. If I get higher drunk, I'm gonna vibrate with people that are maybe higher drunk, right? On a similar frequency, a triangulation frequency perhaps, that I'll be able to, but everyone else will be able to see this, right? Where if you do a psychedelic or some other major drug, it's going to put you on a different octave where you're actually outside of the realm. Does that make a little more sense there? Any other spices? Light years? Oh, were you saying what I said? Try to listen to that again. So just think of it in terms of octaves on a piano. So if we go from the octaves that are used on a piano, and then you go up octaves, it's the color spectrum. If you go up octaves, it's the smell. If you go from sounds and the thing, it's all the same. It's all on different octaves, right? So doing psychedelics gets you outside of what you'd call the sound realm and puts you into the smell realm of octaves. It changes the megahertz, the hertz, the frequencies, right? Where if you do something that is normal to this realm, we could drink, we could smoke some weed, we could do all of the normal things that you would say are just normal drugs, and we still exist here, and we interact with different types of people that are spirits. I don't hang out with the same people when I'm high as when I'm drunk, as when I'm sober, as I meet different people. But if I do a psychedelic, maybe my physical body and everything just completely goes to a different realm. If you do enough of it, you see what I'm saying? It's like if I take the fine-tuning dial, that's what I'm doing if I smoke a little bit of ganja. Fine-tuning dial, that's what I'm doing with a little bit of beer. But if I do a major amount of psychedelics, I'm taking that big dial and just going and just into a different octave completely. I mean, you could do it obviously through breath work. You can do it through going to sleep. Because when you go to sleep, your body's changing, your energy patterns, and you're putting yourself into a hypnosis. You're putting yourself into a different realm, theta realm, delta perhaps. So you definitely are doing that when you're sleeping. But psychedelics take you to those places and beyond when you're awake. You're saying, when people are, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I've met plenty of people. I've met plenty of people when I was drunk or high, just on weed, that are definitely not from here. and in that sense, and I know plenty of people that have very third eye capabilities. Perhaps me. Just because it's turned on doesn't mean I always have to use it fully to see someone's auric field or whatever. So I mean, to a degree, I know what you're saying, but I don't think that's across the board. What up, branches? Yeah, super sharp in a higher state. Yeah. This goes back to the beginning of the video, where I don't necessarily believe, or like in any way think that higher vibes is the better thing. I think geometry, relationship, and being in harmony with how to build energetic structures. Just because someone's on a higher vibe doesn't mean that they're in cohesion with anything. I explained it earlier. It's very simply like you have constructive and deconstructive harmonics. You have things that can shatter glass. You have things that can make a shape cymatically. And just because people are on a higher vibe doesn't mean shit. Just because someone's third eye is open doesn't mean they're a good person or is like vibing with better energies. Because that doesn't necessarily mean they're interlaced, interconnected with reality. Oh, if you're connected to all, then you'd still be connected to lowest frequencies, huh? You know. So if you're one with everything, then you gotta be connected to the devil, demons. You gotta be connected to the crackheads. You'll be connected to the prostitutes, the hookers, the pimps. You'll be connected to the angels, to God, to archangels. You'll be connected to the flowers. I mean, yeah, that's great. It's fun to be there, but that's a whole fucking, that's a shit ton, man. What up, crow? See my little crow friend over here? What up, crow? Where's he at? Oh, shit. I can't see him. Oh, there's so much glare on the screen. I don't know if you can see him. He's showing on the field over there. So the glare on the screen was too much. Interesting about the narcissist being good at doing things. Yeah, I got you. Genealogy and Jupiter. Not enough to talk about, man. I'm not that one. You know. If I glossed over it and gave it if I glossed over it, it would make sense to me. Like I just haven't really studied the Jupiter enigma so much. I mean, as far as I know, none of the planets are actually physical bodies. It's nowhere to land. All of the planets are suns and moons. That's what I've understood. That's what makes most sense to me. They're either suns and moons from realms beyond us, or reflections from somewhere far, far away. So I think, you know, when you have all these stars in the sky, sure, that could be a sun and a moon from a different realm. Like just that way, 100,000 million miles. Who knows? But the landscapes, oh, that seems to be on the, like there might be, like, if we somehow went up 100 miles, and there might be a shelf above us it's like if you were on a cruise ship and you're on the first floor and you're like, oh well shit, let's see what's on the second floor. That could work. I mean, isn't that what the ideas of the trees of I mean, think about the tree of life, or the what's the name of the tree that they use in Norse mythology, and how there's Midgard and the underworld and all this. I don't suppose how that couldn't be true too, but spread out amongst that as kind of like waves. If you drop something into the ocean and those waves go out in, what do you call it, concentric circles, and it goes out to, like, that's what I think our realm looks like. And I think we're in one of those in the middle, like close to the middle, and then outside of that there's plenty more. At 11:11. Good, man. Good light years. 11:11 and 3:33. I think you'll be good, man. Those are good numbers. Funny enough, today I was talking to somebody, and I never look at what time it is, because I don't like the idea of numerology controlling so much. I know it's just a kind of a redundancy for me, that if I happen to notice it, it's saying, you know, good job, you're on the right track. And it was 11:11. Yeah. And then I walk into the park, and the first car that I look at license plate, it's like 111. You know, well, start your day, and that kind of shit. See, right there on time. Perfect. What time is it for me? Oh, it was 2:33 for me. Shit, if you would have said it an hour from now, it'd be 3:33, and it'd be right back to the beginning, huh? Hey, well, check it out. I want to make another drink, but I really don't want to drink it without ice. So I have to run to this building over here to grab some ice. So if anybody wants to buy me a cup of ice, it's like 35 cents. You could overdo yourself and give me a buck or two. I mean, I got it in my bag, but if you want to, feel free. Buy me some ice for my drink. Cash App, PayPal, you know how to do it. And just give me a second so I can refill my cup, take a piss, and say hi to one of my friends that's playing music. And how about this? I'll be back on here somewhere here before 3:33. That way we can have a 3:33. You know, it depends on if you do threes like this or threes like this, then you know where you're from. So hey, fucking. Light here, I'll get back to you. And Ninja. Yeah, Ninja, we'll chat about this. I'll see you guys. Give me maybe 40 minutes. Let me go say hello. Maybe I'll go into this park over here. It's good chat. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, remember, take care of yourself. And after you've taken care of yourself, help others. Be weird. Be strange. And we'll chat soon. Bye, bitches.